The 2024 Rookie of the Year race is one that feels like it has an obvious favorite going in. However, I think this race is actually more intriguing than people think. There are a bunch of rookies in interesting situations where they will have interesting dynamics with other players on the roster, and this is just a fun rookie class in general. We saw it in Summer League. I was able to see it a lot in person during Summer League, and I want to talk about my top 5 favorites to win Rookie of the Year going into the season. Now, I do want to go over some honorable mentions because there are guys that could make a case for the top 5, but they didn't end up cracking the top 5 because this class is just a very talented class of rookies. Cam Whitmore was unreal in Summer League, winning Summer League MVP, showing us why he was a prospect we're taking a chance on higher than pick 20, but I just don't know what his role in the rotation is going to be as a rookie, or how many minutes he will be getting in the rotation, especially with Tari Eason taking a potential jump and them signing Dylan Brooks. So he is a case of maybe he would have one if he was in a different situation. Keyonte George had an incredible Summer League. He showcased dynamic ability as a scoring guard with all-around potential and even some defensive potential. If he was on a team where he got more opportunity, I think he might be a top 5 candidate, but he is on a team that as of right now has Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson, who they just re-signed, so I don't know how many minutes he's going to get early on. Gradey Dick should be an instant impact shooter on the wing as a floor spacer. He can play off the ball, he can be a spot-up guy, he can play off movement. His numbers as a rookie will depend on the roster construction going into the season, what's going on with Pascal Siakam, among others. But I do think he should average around like 10 points per game, but in this rookie class, 10 points per game is not enough to win Rookie of the Year in my opinion. Like Gradey Dick, Jett Howard should bring an immediate value as a floor spacing wing with on-off ball versatility and passing upside. But he is likely going to be the backup to Franz Wagner at the 3 spot and should get some run at the 2 as well. But the backcourt is pretty crowded in Orlando, and that's also the problem with another Magic player we'll talk about. I think he's going to be good long term, but I don't think he'll have the best counting stats as a rookie. Cason Wallace should bring immediate value as a player on the defensive end, which is rare for a guard, especially one this young, and I do think he will be a solid offensive complement. He also is playing on a team that has a legit top 10 to 15 player in the league, one of the best connecting playmakers in basketball, a guy going into year 2 that projects to be a 15-ish point per game scorer, and a guy who is in the top 5 of the Rookie of the Year candidates going into this season in my opinion. Jarace Walker should be a big impact rookie with his versatility on both ends of the floor, but I don't know if he'll have the best counting stats per se. I feel like he's someone who might get underrated because of the numbers not standing out the most, but I do think he's going to be big impact even if the numbers don't reflect it all the time. Bilal Coulibaly has a ton of upside that I'm excited to see with the Wizards, especially with the new additions of guys like Tyus Jones and Jordan Poole, but he still is pretty raw, and I think his numbers might be a bit rough in year 1, but I still like his long-term upside a lot, even if the immediate impact isn't going to be there as a rookie. Anthony Black is going to bring value as an all-around player and as a playmaker for the future with Orlando, but as of right now, the backcourt is pretty crowded, and for similar reasons to Jett Howard, I don't know if the counting stats are going to look great as a rookie, which is kind of a requirement, especially in a rookie class this good. Ausar Thompson is going to be a really good NBA player. I'm really confident in that idea, and he was on the border of my top 5. I contemplated putting him in the top 5, but I think he's probably going to be behind Cade and Ivy in terms of usage at the guard wing spot. So I think that compared to the guys that I think will be in my top 5, his counting stats won't look the best, but I could see him making a case for it if the defense is really good and the numbers on offense are solid. All of these guys, I think, could make a case for the top 5 and shock me if they have better years than expected. Some of these guys have stronger cases than others for the top 5, but I do think that the top 5 in this rookie class have kind of separated themselves in terms of talent and the situation that they're going to be in for the most part. Amen Thompson comes in at number 5 on this list for me, and he would definitely be a lot higher if the Rockets didn't sign Fred VanVleet. However, I do think Amen will have a really good rookie season. At worst, I think he's the 6th man going into the year, and it wouldn't shock me at all if he's the starter sooner rather than later in his rookie season. He's a 6'7" freakish athlete that's more comparable to anime characters than actual basketball athletes. He brings immediate value as a playmaker, which the Rockets desperately need, and he should bring impact as a defensive player in the wing, which is something the Rockets also desperately need. I think he will put up similar numbers as a rookie to what Jarace Walker did as a rookie, but I think he'll be more efficient with much better defense. I placed him at 5 here because of the uncertainty of his usage and the role within his minutes, but I do think that he's going to play a lot as a rookie, even if he's a starter right away, and he would be much higher than 5 if I knew he would be the full-time starter out the gate. But I think this is still a pretty high ranking for him, and it really speaks to the talent that he has as a player, that I think he's just too good to keep off the floor, and he's going to have a really good rookie season despite playing with a team that just signed a point guard to a really big contract. And I think long term he will be maybe their best player. I definitely believe that he has a chance to be the franchise guy for them if his development goes right. But as of right now, in terms of Rookie of the Year rankings, he comes in at number 5. Brandon Miller comes in slightly ahead of Amen Thompson for me at number 4. I know he had a rough summer league, but he did showcase his talent in some of the games, and I felt like on tape his struggles were more about the situation than anything about him as a player. He will be better in the NBA as a rookie compared to summer league. I'm almost certain of that, simply by playing next to an actual point guard. And he gets to play with one of the best playmakers in the league in LaMelo Ball. He will thrive as a floor spacer. He'll be able to cut off the ball. He'll be able to run the floor in transition. He should bring value as a secondary passer. He was the best passer on the Hornets Summer League roster, which wasn't ideal because he thrives most in that secondary passing role, and he really didn't get to utilize his passing as much in a role where he kind of was just playing off the ball while the guards on the team didn't look to pass. But in Charlotte, on the actual NBA roster, he should be able to thrive more as a secondary passer. He will get easier looks on the perimeter and in the paint simply by playing next to LaMelo. He will struggle in lineups without LaMelo early on, but I think those reps will be beneficial long term when it comes to game speed reps for his development in key areas. I think he's going to be a really good 3-point shooter out the gate. He will struggle as a finisher and self-creator, but playing next to an elite playmaker should lead to good production as a scorer. Should have solid assist numbers for his role, and I think he will bring some value as a point of attack defender. I think he's going to have a really good rookie year and a good NBA career, but I do think the top 3 guys have kind of separated themselves a little bit. Chet Holmgren comes in at number 3 for me. Offensively, he should be solid out the gate. He's a solid 3-point shooter. He runs the floor well, can catch lobs, has good touch around the basket, can create for himself to an extent, and can play off the ball. But I expect him to have an Evan Mobley-esque offensive rookie season in a way where he thrives while playing with great playmakers and puts up solid scoring numbers. Although I do think he's further along than Mobley in terms of scoring aggression and 3-point shooting. I think he's definitely behind Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the scoring pecking order. I think that's always going to be the case. And early on he might be behind J-Dub and Jarace Walker, but I do see a world where he overtakes those two and becomes the long-term second scoring option. But the reason he is this high for me is the defense. He's an elite shot blocker. He covers so much ground on defense because of his mobility. He has a high motor and good feel. He will get bullied by the Jokic's and Embiid's of the world, but at the end of the day, who doesn't? And his job isn't to play 1v1 defense against them or anyone, really. His job is to cover ground and affect shots in multiple spots. I don't think he'll be as good of a rookie compared to Mobley or the number one guy on this list in terms of defense in their rookie seasons, but I do think he'll bring high value on that end of the floor more than the ordinary rookie. And with solid offensive numbers, great defensive impact, and being part of the Thunder potentially being a legit playoff team this year, which I think is a real possibility, it should lead to an interesting Rookie of the Year case. Also, he does have a year in an NBA building, which has had really positive impacts for guys like Blake Griffin and guys like Ben Simmons. I know Ben Simmons' career didn't turn out the way people thought it did, but he had a really good rookie year and probably should have been an all-star during his rookie season. And I think that being in an NBA building, he's definitely added some strength. Does still need to get a bit more strong, but I think that he's clearly stronger than what he was a year ago. So I do think he's going to be in for a really good rookie year and should make a case for a top 3 finish in voting this upcoming season. Scoot Henderson comes in at number 2 on this list to the surprise of nobody who's been following the channel for more than a month now. And he's the guy that I think has the best chance to overtake the number 1 guy on this list in terms of Rookie of the Year voting, potentially, depending on the rookie year he has. Assuming Damian Lillard does get traded, which feels inevitable at this point, it's kind of annoying hearing about it in the news all the time, I'll be honest. Scoot will be the primary guy going into the season, and Scoot would still be number 2 for me, even if Dame was on the team, because that means that he would be the 6th man and get a bunch of opportunities when Dame's on the bench and get to run with second units and put up really good numbers probably with second units. But the idea of Dame being gone means that I believe Scoot is the primary guy going into the season, which is why I believe he'll have the best chance to overtake number 1. I think that he's going to be incredible as a rookie, obviously. I know Simons had a good year last season. I know Sarp looked really good toward the end of his rookie season as well. But I think Scoot is clearly a better offensive creator in terms of offensive creativity than both of them. And I think he will be the best playmaker on that roster as a rookie. I think the one thing you might have to look out for is Jeremy Grant, because Jeremy Grant's going to take a bunch of shots. But even with that, I just think Scoot is too good to not have a great rookie season. Funny enough, I think we could see a rookie season that's similar to what Damian Lillard did as a rookie. I think Scoot will thrive playing alongside floor spacers like Simons, who can somewhat create for himself, even if it is overrated by most NBA fans. Shaedon Sharpe, who is a transition threat, he can space the floor as well, and he's a growing self-creator. And even Jeremy Grant had a really good season last year as a 3-point shooter, and overall, it's not like he's a terrible 3-point shooter for his career. Scoot also does have the advantage over most rookies because he has been getting NBA level training since he was 17 years old. He's faced more physical and experienced athletes prior to the NBA than just about everyone else in this class, minus maybe the number 1 guy on this list. That's not to say that the G League is the NBA, but it should make that transition easier, on top of the fact he's been an NBA level athlete since he was 16 years old and will enter the NBA in a similar fashion to Anthony Edwards, where the moment he steps on the court, he's immediately one of the most physically gifted players in the league for his position. And he's also a higher field prospect and better playmaker than Ant was entering the NBA, with similar shooting sort of projections to Anthony Edwards entering the NBA. I'm not saying that he will improve as a shooter the way Anthony Edwards did from Georgia to his rookie season and rookie season moving forward, because Ant has made a ton of progression as a player in general since entering the NBA. But I will say this, if Scoot makes similar progression to what Ant did in his NBA career, Scoot will be a top 30 player in the league by year 3 or year 4. That's how good he is entering the NBA. I think he's going to have one of the better rookie seasons we've seen from a point guard in recent memory. I think his physicality and athleticism are going to be too much for a decent amount of guards to handle. I think that the fact that he's super high feel and a really good playmaker, that gives him an advantage as well. We just really haven't seen a point guard prospect this young that's this advanced while also being this special of an athlete enter the league in recent memory. And I think that he will show immediately that he is the face of the franchise moving forward. But there is one guy ahead of him, and while Scoot does have the best claim to overtake him in the Rookie of the Year race, I don't think you can put anyone ahead of this guy going into the year. And to the surprise of nobody, Victor Wembanyama comes in at number 1. What can be said that hasn't been said already? He has the potential to be the most dominant offensive player and defensive player in the world. Basically, I'm saying he has the potential to be the best player in the world. Immediately, he will be a high-level defender. Offensively, he will have his ups and downs. But he also will have plenty of moments where he's just unguardable, because there's not much you can do with a 7'5" guy that moves the way he does and has the skill that he does. I think he could be all-star good in his rookie season. And I don't say that lightly. Being all-star good as a rookie is rare. We've seen generational talents in the past not make the all-star team as a rookie. Guys like Luka Doncic, although Luka made a really strong case. He had an incredible rookie season. LeBron James didn't make the all-star team as a rookie. And it's not a guarantee that Victor will make the all-star team as a rookie. But we look at the West, outside of Jokic, Jaren Jackson Jr. has some injury concerns. Anthony Davis has some injury concerns. So I'm not wishing injury upon those two. But the fact that there are certain games played and minutes played, sort of expectations to make the All-Star team by the time voting comes around, especially for reserves with the coaches and the front offices voting on that, I do believe that Victor could make it if he can stay healthy. I know injuries are going to be a concern because he is pretty skinny still, but he has put on weight. I don't think it's as big of a concern as people think. I think he might get bullied a little bit, but it won't be the biggest concern. And overall, I just think it goes without saying that he projects to have an unreal rookie season. Now, offensively, I don't think he'll be overly efficient, especially if they let him create on the wing, which I think the Spurs should. I think the Spurs should play him on the wing a lot because that's what he naturally is. Yes, he can do some of the big man stuff like drop, and he can catch lobs, run the floor, be a dump off guy, put back guy, roll man. But the idea of him on the wing is terrifying for the rest of the league. And I think it's the best way to utilize him because of his skill set, because of what he can be as a shot creator. And it's important to get him those reps as a shot creator and as somebody that can create off the dribble. So I think playing him on the wing will be a really good idea for the Spurs. We'll see how it goes in his rookie year. But at the end of the day, even though I don't think he'll be overly efficient offensively, I think it's still going to be like 20 to 22 points per game on like 57 true shooting percentage instead of 60 plus true shooting percentage, because he's still going to have those plays where nobody can stop him, because nobody can match up with a size skill combo like this. He will get pushed around a little bit, obviously. He does need to add some strength, but again, not the biggest concern. And on defense, I think he could be all defense good as a rookie. It's not a guarantee. I know Rusty Bucket said that he thinks he could be a top 10 defender in the league by like game 5 of his rookie season or something like that. I'm not quite there with him yet because there still is a learning curve, but it wouldn't shock me if by November, December, we are talking about one of the best defensive players in basketball because of his mobility, because of how technically sound he is in a decent amount of areas on defense, because of his feel for the game on defense, and because he's 7'5" with an 8-foot wingspan. He could put his hands up and go straight up at the basket, and good luck trying to get you shot off. So I think there is a chance that he is legitimately all defense good as a rookie. In fact, I would say this. I think he's going to be better than Evan Mobley as a defensive player in his rookie season, where Mobley was legit all defense good. And I think Victor could be even better. And the thing is, Mobley did not make an all defense team as a rookie. Maybe he should have. I actually think he probably should have. I think Victor could. It's not a guarantee. There are great defenders in the league. You have a lot of really versatile guys like Jaren Jackson Jr., like Bam Adebayo, like Anthony Davis, even Brook Lopez, who I think is going to be pretty good defensively again this season. He may not be the most versatile, but he's still really impactful, and also Giannis. So it's not a guarantee that he makes all defense as a rookie, but there is a chance he does. That's how special of a defensive player he is. I do believe regardless, though, he will at the very least show flashes of the type of player he could be, where you are watching him and you see all the signs of a future franchise centerpiece, face of the league type of player. I think he has a chance to change basketball, and I also think he has a chance to have the best rookie season we have seen since Blake Griffin. But that's the end of this video. If you made it to this point, thank you so much. Haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell. I'm notified whenever I release a video. I'm making videos about basketball all the time, and liking and subscribing are the two best ways you can help me out in the YouTube algorithm. Helps people find my videos, so in turn, help the channel grow so I can make more content for you guys in the future. Let's try to get 100 likes on this video so YouTube will recommend it to others. Let me know who you think will win Rookie of the Year. Let me know if there's a rookie I didn't talk about in this video that you think has a chance at Rookie of the Year. Is there someone that I did mention in this video that you think will win Rookie of the Year that I don't think is going to finish high in voting? I'll do all that in the comment section below. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.